There we go. Now we live. What's going on, everybody in the chat? Want to thank you for coming out to Hustler and Bono show tonight. We got a special treat for you. But before we get into it, Mr. Bono, I know you just stepped in. Can you holler? I think he froze.
Who?
You.
What you mean I'm froze? Why would I be froze?
Oh, you just stagnant there for a second.
Yeah, I was looking at someone on the other screen. What's good, y'all? What's up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
So it looks like we got people coming in. We got 20 people in here so far. We got a real treat for you today, everybody tonight. For the past month, what is it, month and a half or so? My brother Bo has been hosting a comic show every Monday, Monday Night Raw, with comics, letting them, giving them the opportunity to do jokes here online, which is new to them because a lot of them have never done it. I don't want to say it's a test, but it's been great to hear the jokes and hear the responses by people in the chat, emails, Facebook, all the other platforms that people are really enjoying it. So we thought, what better way to also promote that and bring on the gentleman that is bringing on all the comics for y'all to get some laughs with, and that's Diaz Mackie. So, Mr. Diaz Mackie, before we get into it, I have to ask my brother Bo if he do his saying so he can get you in.
Yeah, before we get into it, like I said, I met Diaz like 3, 4 years ago, if not longer. I met him a while back. Through my brother. If you guys don't know, my brother's a stand-up comedian, which is what's up. He came out here, once I got my brother right here, we started doing he started doing actual going out to have open mic. So he's on open mic, and I went to a couple shows and do some stuff. Like I said, and I ended up bumping into Diaz. So with that being said, we're gonna bring him, y'all, and find out what's going on with Diaz. So Diaz, can you let the good people know how you get down, how you be, what you about, and why you love doing what you do?
Well, first of all, what up, world? I see Quentin. What up? Showing up, everybody here. First of all, thank y'all for having me on the show. I don't know where y'all really want me to begin. You said what I do. I've been doing stand up now for 14 years, and I guess everybody always asks like what made me want to get into stand up, and it's just something that I always wanted to do since I was a kid. I don't know if it was Fozzie the Bear from watching the Muppets back in the day. I know I was always a class clown, and I knew I really wanted to be a stand-up comic though when I saw Bernie Mac do Def Comedy Jam.
Mm-hmm.
The I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Like a lot of people don't remember that episode, but everybody on that show was bombing that night, including Martin. And people like Martin never bombed on that show. Martin was having a tough night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made Bernie Mac come out and say, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers, because everybody was eating a dick. And when he did that and he took control of that room and he made all them people laugh, I was like, man, like that's what I want to do. And then I stumbled into it. Honestly, I didn't think it was realistic. I didn't know how one became a stand-up comic. I moved to Vegas when I was 25. I moved to Vegas when I was 25. And I started working customer service for DirecTV. In fact, I actually was training customer service for DirecTV and was they were flying me across the country, opened up call centers. And a good year and a half had gone by, and I was just sitting in my room one day smoking, and I was like, man, I didn't leave my kids in 2,000 miles away from home to be working a job that I could be doing in Michigan. You know what I mean? I was like, I came out to act because I originally wanted to live in LA. And so I opened up Vegas Weekly. They have in Vegas, Las Vegas Weekly, which tells you about the entertainment and stuff like that. And in fact, it has like classifieds. And I was just going through that looking for casting calls for acting to see if there are any casting call agencies. And I stumbled across an open mic. And I read it and called the dude's number. It was Matt Markman, who still lives in Vegas. And when I called his number, he was like, you booked. But the show was so popular, the booking he gave me was like a month down the road. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It was long enough to like think about it and be like, I don't want to do it. But because he had said I was booked, I felt like I was committed to it. Like I felt like if I stood up that chance or if I skipped out on that, like I'd be blackballed. And so I went. I didn't write a joke. I didn't prepare. I just went with my girl at the time. Her and my boy and his girl kicked him out my truck and smoked the blunt to the head. And I listened to Lloyd Banks, 1970 something on repeat. Jamming out. It was 1970 something. And just kind of envisioning like what it would be like to be on stage. And I knew like in that month when he booked me that I was going to be on stage. So what I did that whole month is I would go on the strip, and I forgot the name of the casino. They had turned it into what's the name of that fucking shit? They had turned it into a Beatrice Madhouse, but previous to that, it was a karaoke spot right there on the strip. And I would go in there and I would sing like every day, and I can't sing worth shit. But I would go in there just to be used to being on stage and having, to get over that stage fright and having people laughing at me, not laughing with me.
Right.
At that point, and laughing at me because I know I can't sing. And so I did that for that month. And then when I went and did that actual comedy show over at Boomers, it was at Boomers bar, which I don't even think is open anymore in Vegas. I still remember the address. It was 3200 Sirius in Las Vegas. And I went and I crushed. Like I killed. A dude by the name of Joe Lowers, who he's the founder and the producer and the host of the World Series of Comedy.
Right.
He had to be there that night, and he came up to me and he asked me how long I had been doing comedy. And I told him it was my first time, and he was like, "Bullshit, you've been doing this at least 5 years." And I was like, "No, this is my first time." And he looked at me and he was like, "You ain't gotta lie, like we all cool around here." And I was like, "Bro, this was my first time." And he looked at me, he was like, "I hope to see you around." And he patted me on my back and walked away. And I looked at my girl and was like, "That dude thought I was a professional. I could do this shit." And the next show I did, Gladys Knight's nephew, Smooth C, he saw me. And he booked me to do a show for him and put me on his TV show. And from there was the ground running. From there I met Michael Collier. And I became a full-time comic. Like within 6 months of me starting.
Okay. So let me ask you this: from the first time you were on stage, do you remember what your first joke was?
I actually do. Because my first joke wasn't a joke. It was if you're familiar with the Las Vegas comedy scene, there's this dude by the name of John King Tamer. He might be slightly slow. I don't know what his deal is, but cool dude, got a good heart. But he used to cut his hair purposely. He would shave all of this, the front. Yeah, long hair in the back. And the dude looked like Sonny Bono. Right? And I called that the cut, because it was cut so far back, I called it RoboCop. You know what I mean? That cut had to do with the RoboCop. So when he went on stage, he went up before me and he was hitting on my girl. And the girl that was with us, talking about how he liked black women and this and that and that. And my first joke is I went up and I said that he looked like skunk. I said, I know comics aren't probably supposed to talk about another comic, but this dude looked like Sonny Bono after he hit the tree. And they started laughing in the crowd. And I was like, I had to say something about him because if I didn't, I'd have went back home and she'd have been like, you let that white boy talk shit to me? And then I started laughing. And then my girl, she was a Jehovah's Witness. So I made up a dumb joke, which she got pissed off about. But I made up a joke about her being a Jehovah's Witness and how we met was she knocked on my door and I was butt naked smoking a blunt. And she ain't left since. Stupid ass joke. It was, not even really a joke, just like a thought, just throwing shit out. But the last joke I did, which is amazing that I know about how to close before I even knew how to close. I did my Steve Irwin joke. And if anybody's out there has ever heard it, and if you haven't, I did a Steve Irwin looking for crackheads in the hood. And I was like, good day, mates. They were in the streets of downtown Las Vegas, Nevada, looking for the indicative crackhead. Oh, look there, fall. We spotted one. You see how it fidgets and shakes? Look there, she's got the Jones. Right? The stupid joke that got laughs. That's what Michael Collier. He loved that joke. He called me a genius when he first heard it. But yeah, I ended with that joke, and the rest is 14 years later. I'm doing comedy on the internet.
You said, hey, here we go.
Who knew?
The way to go.
Advice and hard work would bring me to doing comedy in my fucking living room.
On the internet.
Right?
He said, we gonna get it.
Relationships, time with kids, money, homeless on 2 different occasions. Like legit homeless, not homeless with a car. Like legit, like right in an abandoned building, like homeless. Like, oh, this is the price that I'm willing to pay. Everybody has a homeless story that ever made it. This is my Tyler Perry moment. You know what I mean?
So you've been having ups and downs with the comedy. What we named the show, or the name of the show that you got that everybody know that's yours is Monday Night Raw. So most people know that it comes from you. So when you came up with Monday Night Raw, was it just happened, or did you just start off with, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna see if I can start my own comedy show, or how did it fall into your lap?
All right, so this is gonna sound so stupid, but I started doing comedy 2008, I believe, 14 years, 2008, I think so, maybe 2006, but I think it's 2008. Do the math. Anyway, 14 years ago, but it was in April. Pardon me. I started in April of whatever, 2006, 2008, whatever. And that January 1st, I had a dream that I was hosting a fucking show. It's crazy as shit. It's dumb as fuck. But and I had a dream of where it was at and how to set it up. And like 2 days later, my boy Big Reg, rest in peace, he out of Oakland. He just passed away. He came to me and was like, "Hey, dog, I want to do this comedy show, and I got this place where I want to host it at. But I want you to show me how to set it up." And he took me to the spot, and it was the spot that I had in my dream. Like when I walked in the room, like I seen it. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of mad, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm helping him out, and I'm telling him, I'm not gonna show you all my ideas because I'm gonna host a comedy show, and I don't want you having all my shit, but I'm gonna show you this shit. And I told him about the dream, and the first show was gonna be on Martin Luther King Day. And like a week before that, out of the blue, his uncle was crossing the street in Oakland and got hit by a car. Wow. And died. And he felt like it was his obligation to go back home to Oakland and be there for his family. And he just gave me the show. And I chose it to be on Monday night because I figured that in Vegas, Monday night was the only dark night for entertainment, Mondays and Tuesdays at that time. And all the comics told me that Monday would be a horrible night because it was the first night of the work week and all that. And I was like, this ain't for them. This is Vegas, and Vegas is a 24-hour town. And where Pounders is located was off of Sahara. Mm-hmm. And like a block off of Las Vegas Boulevard. And so I envisioned that we would be able to get strip traffic, not knowing how Vegas and that strip worked, that ain't nobody coming down that far from the strip. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking like we're going to get all this foot traffic, you know what I mean, to follow them down there, was that never happened. But that was why it was Monday. And then I named it Monday Night Raw. Honestly, I stole it from Monday Night Raw, the wrestling shit. It was a straight rip from that, and I named it comedy. And I made sure if that show ever blew up and got big, I spelled night, N-I-T-E, so I wouldn't get hit with copyright infringements.
That's
So have any of the comics that came through through Monday Night Raw? Have any of them been other places, like other bigger places, bigger stages besides?
Oh my God. Monday Night Raw, first of all, Monday Night Raw was the longest running show off the strip in Vegas. And it was the most successful. It never missed a week throughout its 5 years. Like, the show got moved to 3 different venues the day of the show. I would jump in my car and literally ride around the city looking at bars. And I would go into different bars and see if their room was separate, if they had a separate room from where their bar was. If they didn't have a separate room, I didn't fuck with it. Right. I would always have rooms that had a separate room, and then I would go in there and I would pitch my show. I'd be like, look, I got a real successful show. Let me do this week for free. You'll get some money. And then after you see the sales, I want 20% of the bar sales.
That's what's up.
And I'm like, you get this one show for free off of a sample, and it's of the day of, so just see what I can do with a week of promotion. It would give me a shot, and it would always be successful.
Okay, that's what's up.
That's back where you can work that text message game, where you can do them blast text and tell them without being charged for a felony. But yeah, that's how Monday Night started. And since then, I've been blessed to have seen like so many comics come through there. Jay Reed, who was already doing comedy before I started Monday Night Raw, but will come through there and work out. Jay Reed, who's the winner of Bill Bellamy's Who's Got Jokes on Showtime. D-Lay, one of the original people that used to come through there. Also toured with Bill Bellamy. It's on Showtime and HBO joints. Take It Easy was this thing back then. Now it's Take It In. We had Bill Bellamy come through, Rodney Perry. Man, so many. Mike Tyson came to a show. You know what I mean? Like, right. Yeah, it was dope, and it was raw. It was a Monday night open mic comedy show where people dressed up, and their club clothes to come to. And you go in the bathroom, and motherfuckers be fucking in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Cats fucking behind a dumpster in the alley. It was just a wild ass like. And this was before motherfuckers was doing coke. You know what I mean? It was just a crazy ass. It was fun. Like comedy was. It was fun. Like everybody had fun. Boss, who y'all know,
how'd you do it?
They got shot up one time. Like we experienced it all.
How do you deal with hecklers?
It depends. It depends on the heckle. To be honest, if they're agreeing with me, you know what I mean, or whatever, they just being loud. You know, I'll handle it a certain way. If they're trying to come at me, I hit it with a couple jabs, a couple warning shots. You know what I mean, before I demolish them. You know what I mean? Like, and I try to warn them, like I'm professional. You know what I mean? Like, I do this, and I try to hit it with a couple shut them down respectfully.
Right.
But honestly, I really don't get too many hecklers.
Okay.
I don't know if it's my style because I speak fast or because they really agree with me. Sometimes they can't understand me because of this list. But I honestly, I haven't been heckled too many times. I have been heckled. I got booed once. I've been booed twice.
Did you just leave the stage or you stayed on there and performed?
I stayed up there, nigga. I ate that shit. The first time they booed, I was like, is this place haunted? Is it a ghost in here? You know what I mean? Like, I got too much pride to like give up. Like, I'm gonna fight this shit. You gonna drag me off this stage? Because no comic likes to bomb, but if I'm bombing and I know I'm bombing, I'm finna have fun bombing. I'm finna see how bad I can bomb from here on out. Like I'm finna care. Like I can laugh at myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm realistic with myself. Like I know what the fuck is going on when I'm up there. I'm like, oh shit, this ain't going too good. Like the first part of this interview, a lot of them stories way too long. You know what I mean?
Like, switch it up.
Right. Let me ask you this. So with you working with a lot of different comics, male, female, what is what's the word for it? What's the respect factor? Do all y'all respect each other? Is there any jealousy behind the scenes because one person may be a little better with their jokes than others?
He like I put my
Uh-oh,
No. Let's see how we go. Yeah, it's all of that. There's respect. You know what I mean? The upper tier professional comics, you know what I mean? You got to earn it.
right.
You know what I mean? Like it's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like with everything. So with real comics, and I'm talking about real comics, like your Chappelle's, your Shangs, Kevin Hart, D-Lay, Bill Burr. You know what I mean? When they see you, they just see you on the stage. They don't really respect you. Like doing comedy for 5 years is like turning 21 in comedy. That's when you start getting like a little bit of, oh, you're taking it serious. Like you might be here for a minute.
Right.
Around 10, motherfuckers like really start to respect you, especially if you're good. You know what I mean? If you just been in this shit 10 years and you done lost respect on that they respect you in this, but at the same time quit. Right. You know what I mean? Like, but of course there's jealousy. You know what I mean? There's jealousy with everything. And motherfuckers don't realize that it's enough room for everybody to eat. You know what I mean? So it's hate.
Just say it again.
For everybody to eat. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna be jealous of no man. You know what I mean? So it's definitely backbiting, contention. You know, people jealous of this. Because with everything, there's always politics. You know what I mean? With life in general, it ain't always what you know, it's who you know. You know what I mean? Look at George W. Bush. That motherfucker was president. We ain't even talking about Trump. Like, although they said GW had like the greatest IQ of all the presidents, which is shocking. But yeah, it's you know, with politics, so it's who you know. So yeah, it's tons of backbiting. Comedy is horrendous with the backbiting because it's definitely a lot of fake. Right. You know what I mean? People trying to be cool just to politic. Mm-hmm. I mean, because being cool with you is beneficial to them for a little bit. You know what I mean? And so you get a lot of, you know, dick sucking and all that bullshit. Hey, you know what I mean? As soon as somebody see a chink in your armor, you know what I mean? They go at you. Like, my career in Vegas started out difficult because, like I said, the start was so fast.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at open mics, when I went to open mics, I would bomb at open mics a lot. You know what I mean? Because I was working out material. I'm not doing my material. I'm doing it at a show. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers doing your same set every time you get on the show. And Buffet used to tell me that. He's like, nigga, every time I see you on the stage, you're doing something different. Yeah, because this is an open mic. I'm trying to see what works.
Right.
So I throw it into my rant whenever, you know, I do my set. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't care about bombing that in front of fucking comics.
Right.
But just because you've done an open mic with them, they think you've done a show with them. And so then they don't understand that because they got laughs at this fucking open mic and you didn't, while you're on an actual fucking show, because they think they're funnier than you all of a sudden. You know what I mean? I've done shows with him. I'm like, no, you ain't seen me in the comedy club. In the room on the floor with the lights on. I will destroy you. I struggle in all black rooms though for some odd reason, unless I'm coked out, which is fucked up. I've gone.
You did not say that.
I don't know what it is. They know I'm not hood. I grew up around white people, and I don't try to fake it. You know what I mean? So I can't go up there and be like, you know what I mean? A lot of my shit sometimes don't translate. I be feeling like Terry Crews. Be like, God damn, like how'd I get here? All I said was Black Lives Matter. Feeling awkward like Will. Do you imagine how awkward Will Smith has to feel right now? Like out of all this shit, you know what I mean? Like shit, Like this nigga getting something because this bitch was fucking. You know what I mean? Because he was looking at him like, nigga, you Will Smith. Like you allowed this nigga? Like Johnny Day was fucking, but this nigga said you gave him permission. Like you getting pictures with your kids. Like nigga, how involved are you? You Holly weird ass nigga, you. Like that. I'm not that involved, Will. I am. This, now he ain't stepdaddy. You know what I mean? Like, you just,
who is some comics that you enjoyed working with, and who are some comics that you would want to work with in like the future?
I would definitely want to work with Dave Chappelle. I've met him. I've hung out with him. It's one of the most memorable moments of my comedy career. One of, not the most. I got to play my own experiences to blow that out the water. But work with Rob Snyder. That was dope. God, man, I've worked with so many beasts. It's hard to start really naming and excluding. I've done a show with Bill Burr. That was dope. I've been on the same stage with D.L. Hughley at the Comedy Store. Kevin Hart, Mike Epps did my show. Damon Wayans,
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, Chris Tucker, you know what I mean? And those cats that was doing my show that I was, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So, I honestly, it's too many names and I've already started naming names to exclude. You know, I would have loved, honestly, to have met Bernie Mac and Robin Williams. Like, I'm one of the few comics that was in LA before Robin died that didn't meet Robin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, him and Bernie Mac, those are the two that I wish I had the opportunity.
Oh, Robin Harris.
No, Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
Robin Harris was going way before. I wish I could have met Robin Harris. But
yeah, Robin Harris.
Yeah.
Hey, kid. In case y'all didn't know who Robin Harris is, baby kid. Yeah, Robin Williams was good too.
Oh yeah.
Two of my favorite comics. I would have to say Chappelle. I think is the GOAT, and that's because he's just on that heady lane, and that's kind of like the same lane where I find myself in. You know what I mean? The observation. You know, Seinfeld lane. Right. A little black spin on it. You know.
Are the ones that's live now? Who would you want to be in the lineup with?
Chappelle, Rock, Bill Burr, Seinfeld. I would love.
Okay. Yeah. When you're doing your lineups, is it hard to do lineups when you're doing lineups on shows?
Yeah.
When you have to create the lineup, is it hard to figure out which comic?
Yeah, it is. It's extremely hard.
And
producing the show and just the capacity that I'm doing in booking it and coming up with the comics is really stressful. That's why I really just host it. And I only do like a little bit in between, like just to warm up, just to set it up so the comics can get a glimpse of what it is. Like I can't be me being the host, not that early. You know what I mean? Like a lot of comics be able to follow that so early in the show. You know what I mean? It's all headliners, so they all should be able to, but so early in the show, I definitely can't be me and do be me.
Right.
But which I guess that could be sad to say, and then but yeah, it's entirely difficult because picking and choosing and not trying to offend, going through the list and then going through out of like my big comic friends, who would do it that's not going to find it insulting. You know what I mean? If you're doing a fucking living room comedy show, and me not being able to pay them, they're relying solely on the tips of the people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Going to that platform, is that different? Going to a platform where you just basically looking for a tip instead of the actual person that's hosting a payout. So is that different? Is that something different with comics?
It's way different from hosting it and just being one of the performers. It's completely different. If I was just one of the performers, like not to put it out there, but off of one show. Like I made, and I tell people always when I book them, like I've made as much as 180, as less as 10, but I made over $300 in a show doing this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm thankful for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then there's been shows when I've made the $10. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, let me go buy a pack of cigarettes.
Right. And that's the ups and downs of actually doing comedy shows. You have something like the one you do, you strictly on donations. You have a night where you good, and then on the ones when you're hosting, it doesn't really matter if you do bad or not because at the end of the night you still get paid.
And that's what makes it difficult trying to be in a relationship in this shit. Dude, if she be like, "Hey, you bro," and you be like, "I'm trying." I got good dick though. Good dick can keep you in a fucked up relationship for a good 6 months. You got 6 months.
Out there in the chat, y'all, if y'all got any questions for Diaz, don't forget to put them in there. If you feel like we need to ask another question, put it in the chat. If it's something that y'all want to ask, let it be known, and then we'll actually ask him that question. So whatever that question is.
Yeah, ask the questions. What up, James, Monique, Ian? I'm glad I can read. You know, ignorant motherfucker been like, Ian. Look, I grew up with all white people. You know what I mean? So my mom made sure that, like, I was born in Detroit. As soon as I got in grade school, and my mom knew that I knew how to weigh dope, she was like, "Let me take this nigga to the country." Because if I leave him with his daddy, he is going to be a monster. Yeah. B. Davey, I do write my own material, regardless of what other people may try to lie about. He took this bullshit.
Have anybody taking your jokes? Yeah, I heard that's a big no in the comic field.
Yeah. It's happened a few times, but it bothered me. It used to bother me a lot when I first started doing it. In fact, one show, this dude, I'll put him out there because I don't give a fuck. This dude, Scott Fig, he was supposed to go up after me at this set, at this show we was doing, and he begged to go before me. And I did a show for him up in Barstow like a month before and destroyed that bitch. I headlined it for him. And he was begging to go before me, so we was cool and shit like that. He said he had something to do. You know, I just did his show. We cool. I let him go up. This motherfucker did my entire set. like word for word. Like I was sitting there like, nigga, I was so mad. I was pacing. I tried to fight him. Like comments, like they stopped me. Like I was trying to fight this dude. I was mad at the motherfucker. You know, I went up and all I talked about was me beating his ass. I was like, this motherfucker did my jokes. I was like, I would tell this joke, but y'all just heard it because that motherfucker just told my joke when y'all laughed at it again. You know, I was mad. I was mad. Because this dude, Boogie Montreal, he headlined that show. That was my first time meeting him. And he went up and was like, that nigga was up here crying. Somebody took his jokes. He was like, nigga, come on, some other jokes. Which he was right about, but I was younger again. I tried to beat his ass. They had to keep me off of him. You know, they physically had to like grab me. He did my whole set. I was like, what the fuck? Like not a joke or two, my whole set. I was like, what the fuck?
That's crazy. You halfway making it and making people laugh off of my jokes.
Right.
Yeah. Like he only had a couple jokes that wasn't different. And then he stole one of the host jokes. This dude Marlon Baker, he was hosting, he stole this joke. And I was like, nigga, you see this shit? Have I ever worked with a comedian named Drew Frazier? I have not. I haven't even heard about Drew Frazier. My apologies to Drew Frazier. But
Okay.
yeah.
So what do you tell up and coming comedians? Do you give them the game or you let them fall on their face and learn?
It depends on if I like them. Man, you gotta protect your energy, dog. You know that's it. You can't just because you can't cast your pearls amongst swine either. Because especially with my personality, you know what I mean. Me being a Aquarius, shit like that, like, and the way I talk and shit like that, like I can come off like a a smart ass. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm better than you. You know what I mean? So people are like, you think you know it all? Like I come off as a know-it-all. You know what I mean? It's like that's not really my intention. So I rarely give advice. What I tell young comics though is this is a lifestyle, not just a job or a hobby. Like it's a lifestyle.
Right.
And sacrifices come with it, and it's gonna be ups and downs. 1 minute I'm balling and I'm taking everybody out to eat, and we popping bottles, and the next minute I'm like, nigga, you got $5 to tomorrow?
Let's see.
And not every comic gets that. Have I ever forgotten a punchline of my joke? Yeah, I've fucked up a couple of jokes. Some out of not doing them for a long time, and some because I was too fucked up. And it was like, oh shit. And I use a lot of big words sometimes. I do of double entendre and triple entendre jokes. Like there are a lot of sarcasm in my joke. And yeah, I've so the wording or the way it's worded, more or less, it's so important sometimes. And I'll trip over the wording or forget the word that I use. Like I forget the word polarizing all the time.
Okay. So you mean that you polarizing the joke?
No, but that's how I describe myself now, because my boy Sean McBride described me that a long time ago, way before my controversy. He was like, you're a very polarizing figure. And I was like, polarizing? He's like, yeah, people either love you or they hate you, and it's been that way my whole life. You know what I mean? It's either people love me or they've been jealous for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Sometimes when that shine bling, they can't take it. So haters got to block. I mean, not intentional, because I try to love everybody. You know what I mean? It just be like, I'm like, all right. I don't finally came to a point through all the bullshit that I have gone through, though, to where I don't give a fuck, because I used to care. I used to care too much. You know what I mean? Like the way I am and the makeup that I am, I keep saying that I grew up around white people. I grew up around white people, and at a young age, and it wasn't taught to me by my mom, this belief wasn't instilled, because me and my brother are night and day, and we grew up in the same home. But for some odd reason, like I took upon my back and tried to hold that mantle that I was trying to show white people that all black people weren't the ones from the movies, the thugs. You know what I mean? So I was always, you know what I mean? I don't know, way to be the smart one in school, still class clown, and still doing my dirt, but keeping my dirt quiet. Right. Like it taught me how to be, slick with that shit, going back and forth to the city. Like I was more advanced than I probably should have been. You know what I mean? So I was always, doing some type of slick shit. But yeah, and so somebody said you forget your joke. I don't forgot the point that I was just getting ready to make. I just know that I grew up having that mantle of, trying to present that. So, and life and comedy, you know what I mean? I've always tried to be the better person.
Right.
But through this, I know what I was talking about now. It's giving me that I don't give a fuck now. You know what I mean? Because I realize people flimsy as fuck. You know what I mean? My boy said to me earlier, like, when the grass get cut, that old saying, it reveals, the snakes in the yard. You know what I mean? And people shady as fuck, you know what I mean? And flimsy, so you can't give a shit. You got to be comfortable with what you know what I mean, and who you are. And as long as you're trying to be the best person, then you can be, right with that.
Right. What's that, Monty Cruz? That's
Monty Cruz.
Brothers in the house.
Asking a comic question. But I know he's trying to help with this interview. He's trying to act like he's just a regular person. Is it best to have an agent or do your own booking? It's best to have both. But of course it's best to have an agent, because if you have an agent, that means that somebody else cares about you. They they thought they saw something enough in you that where they can make money off of you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely good to have an agent, but you want to be able to do both. I haven't had an agent. It's funny, when I first started, like I said, the trajectory that I started in, like boom, I had so many offers for people to be my agent and to be my manager, and I refused it. I was like, no, I'm not ready for it yet. But when I am ready for it, being way too humble. This is where being humble can fuck you up too sometimes. Like sometimes you just gotta walk through that fucking door. You know what I mean? Because the one time I did just walk through that door, a dude, he owned a Bonkers Comedy Club. Louis Anderson was headlining in Vegas at the Palace Station, and he did a week, and he did clean. It was an hour show,
Mm-hmm.
and the dude knew that I had a following, and he wanted to switch it up. Credit to him. He wanted to give black people somebody to see. And he asked me if I could do an hour clean. And without ever doing more than 5 minutes clean, I looked at him right in his face and said, yeah. And he booked me. I headlined the Palace Station for a whole week because I knew that I didn't probably have an hour. And the type of person that I am, I booked different friends of mine that were comics to open up for me. And I felt embarrassed asking them if they would open up for me because they had been doing comedy like 5 and 10 years. And I've been doing comedy 2 years, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm headlining. My name is on the marquee. You know what I mean? And I know I'm the black one. Let's be real. So that nigga, he only got to come be black. But I still looked out for him and gave both of them their first paid casino gig.
Okay.
Right? But yeah, so that whole thing.
Now to bounce off of what Monty asked, is it better for an agent to choose you or you choose your agent?
Again, both. But it's better. I mean, it's definitely good if an agent comes to you because, again, he wants you. He saw something in you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And where he thinks that he can make money off of, which means that you have value.
Right.
You know what I mean? If he saw it, you know what I mean? Just because you might not be able to see it, he saw it, go with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But at the same time, you don't want to go with anybody. So you got to choose.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not all money, good money. You know what I mean? You can't sell your soul. You can't go with the agent that make you suck his dick. You know what I mean? You can't do that. If I get you where you want to be, it better. Because if I didn't suck the dick and I'm still doing comedy in my fucking living room, how fucked up is that?
Oh, heck no. Let's
Nothing
see.
wrong with sucking a dick for them people who do it for a lifestyle. I'm just saying if you had to do it for stage time. Let's clarify that. I don't want to get canceled. Let me articulate that point. That was stage time, not lifestyle choice.
Right. I'm trying to see if anybody else got any more questions in the house. I saw Mr. GoPro Donnie hop in. I'm not surprised he hasn't put no jokes in the chat because usually he the one.
He said he wants you. Pause.
Huh?
No. There you go, and you caught it right on time. Come on, folks. I gotta keep the stuff going.
Oh, so he said won't you? He's talking about won't you. He's talking about because you said he won't you, the agent.
Oh.
So as far as the agent won't you.
Well, he put the pause on there, so whenever somebody say pause, you know what that means.
Yeah, I saw he like he won't. LJ, he said popcorn. Getting the popcorn ready.
Right.
What was Ian's question? Let me go back up. Ian,
What's the biggest audience that I've ever played to? 1,500.
Oh, okay.
1,500. And the smallest audience I played to, 7. And that was because it was a requirement of 7 people to be there, or they would cancel the show.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yep.
So you have a minimum of 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever did somebody's birthday party?
I have. Yep. I did
Anniversaries and stuff like that.
I've done anniversaries. I've done a birthday party. I did a wake.
No, you didn't. Are you for real?
Yeah. And honestly, it was so much fun. And that was one of the most rewarding shows I've ever done because the family just came up to me and was just thankful for, how much I made them laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I stepped over some boundaries, you know what I mean? But that's what broke the room, you know what I mean? Because my joke was everybody talking about see you in heaven. I was like, y'all know how this nigga lives. He probably not going there. I was like, everybody want to act like people ain't going to hell. You think hell gonna be empty? It was just like, and I clarified. I was like, I know if I died right now, I would probably go to hell. I was like, it's on God's graces though. I was like, who knows? Maybe he'll overlook some shit. GoPro haven't had groupies. Yeah. Comics that get on stage and be like, I don't get sex because I'm not a rapper, I'm not a musician. They get all this sex. Comics, they don't get sex. Bullshit. Yeah, man. A lot of bathrooms where a chick just puts me in the bathroom or want to follow me in the bathroom and come in. Laughter is definitely an aphrodisiac. If you can make a chick laugh, you can go a long way.
Right.
That and weed or coke. We know you've done movies, so what were they? I've done a few movies. I was in a series, Real Rob, that's on Netflix. A movie called Best Friend. That's, I don't know, I think it might be on Amazon. Some soldier movie, a movie called Rainbow. But Monty, another comic, he's trying to talk about the porn. I've done porn. I have. I've been doing comedy for 6 months straight, and I was broke. And I was at a show. Someone was talking about you get groupies. I hit on this girl from stage, and she declined me and said she had a dude, but she later came up to me and asked me if I still want to fuck her, if I was serious about fucking her. And I was like, "What about your dude?" And she was like, "It's cool if it's on camera." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Y'all weird in Vegas. I'm from Detroit. Y'all weird in Vegas." She was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for talent." And I'm like, "So you fucking entertainers? Like, what the fuck? Like, I can fuck, you know what I mean?" Like, I'm just sitting there like, oh. It was crazy. I learned so much shit though, doing the few porn that I did. I learned for y'all to learn porn, you know when dudes had their hand on their own hip, and you be like, "What type of gay ass shit is this nigga holding his hand on his hip for?" The purpose for you holding your hand on your hip is so you don't put your hand on her hip because you can't block the camera shot. So when you get ready to do that with that camera hand, you just gotta put it on your own hip and do that. It was funny too because one of them I did, which was funny because they gave me one of the best compliments that I've ever had, which is funny that the accusations and the bullshit that I've gone through, like people in the porn industry is like, "No, you're not him." This dude refused to fluff her. He was just like, "No, I'm good," and just jacked off. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like I I felt bad for the girl. You know, she just coming up to suck me off to get me hired so I can fuck this other bitch. You know what I mean? Like that was her whole job. But she would come and like play with my balls and suck me off to get me hired. And since she got me hired, all right, action. And I go fuck the other bitch.
You should action.
Chicago VR, have you ever have a promoter ever paid you weed for a payment?
The Chicago VR a promoter has paid me in weed. I have done a weed shows before. A promoter in Phoenix tried to pay me in coke, which I was pissed off about. Like, you can pay me in weed, which sounds crazy, but coke, you insulted me now. Like, give me my money, and if I choose to buy the coke from you, that's my choice. You're not gonna treat me like I'm Richard Pryor. So
Here, take this coke.
Mindset is acting better than stand up.
Is acting better than stand up? Absolutely not. Stand up is a direct, immediate, emotional high. Acting is fun, and if you do it right, it gives you the credits. That way, when you go do stand up, there's more than 1,500 people in the audience that come see you. You know what I mean? There's more than 50. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would definitely acting. Acting is far. I don't understand the comedians such as Richard or such as Eddie Murphy and comics that started acting and then quit doing comedy. I don't see how you could ever leave the stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joy.
It's funny he asked that because it's talking to you now and seeing Monty do his stand up. You two could make a good movie together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking movies. You know what I mean? Most of my jokes and all that shit like that. I think visually. Like, I might be autistic.
Y'all can probably write a script. Y'all can write a script too. Probably write a script for a movie.
I might be somewhere on the spectrum. I might be. If I'm honest with myself, I don't know. I'm scared they don't check me though because I don't trust the government. I'm one of them weird conspiracy theorists too. Like that vaccine they talking about passing out, they're gonna have to kill me.
You're not one.
Coronavirus. You know what I mean?
You're not the one that's thinking you're not the one that's thinking the 5G causes the corona issue.
I'm not a disclaimer of it either. I'm like anything is possible. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know science, so I'm not gonna be like, oh, you want some bullshit? Because I don't know. But because I don't trust government, I'm gonna lean towards that anything is possible. You know what I mean? I'm gonna believe it before I'm not gonna just toss it away. That's for damn sure. And Aaron, I told you I was right. And it comes to pass.
You're like, I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
That's the whole thing with heaven and hell. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather be right and believe that there is Jesus Christ, you know what I mean, and all that, and be wrong and like we just die. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I was wrong, bro. If I come back as a butterfly or a praying mantis, you know what I mean? A fucking tick, you know what I mean? Whatever. They fucking believe in a tree. There's no be it. But if I'm right and it's hell, that's eternity. That's forever, ever. Forever, ever? You know what I mean? I would rather error on that end than error on the other. That's why I like to get married. Because I feel like that'd be my only sin is fornication. I'd be like, everything else God is like in the gray area now. Smoking weed, doing this. Cussing ain't really cussing no more because it's actual language. You know what I mean? There's no restrictions. So the law moved for that. You know what I mean? Because God says sin is against the law. Well, if it's legal, it ain't a fucking sin. Right? That's like the gray area of the Bible. You're like, if they made it legal, God, you told me to obey the laws of the land.
Like, I tried the best way I could.
And then your grace, if it wasn't for your grace. That's what my mom tell me I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be a preacher somewhere. It wasn't for your grace. I did preach a message. My message, I was a youth pastor And the first message that I ever preached was, your dragon is just a snake. And I talked about how everybody, when you talk about Lucifer, you always picture hell and this big dragon and rah, 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 brimstone. But when he was cast into the garden in the beginning, he was in the garden, and they said he was in the form of a serpent. So I put my two and two together and said, he in the garden and he a snake. He a garden snake. That's a bitch ass snake. But because we puff him up throughout the course of time, throughout the Bible, all them pages, and he got bigger and bigger and bigger in your imagination. Because the Bible say, in the end of all things, when you see him, you're going to look at him and be like, this the person I was scared of? Because you didn't see the garden snake.
Mm-hmm.
See, I can do 22 with that scripture.
I gotta go look at that. I gotta go look at that scripture.
Now if anyone has any other questions in the chat, please go ahead and ask them.
Yeah, ask me some questions.
Do you move? What city do you like performing in? What's the best city that you say, you know what, I wouldn't mind always performing in this city?
Vegas, hands down, is the best city to perform in. Because Vegas is a collection of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not Vegas off strip. Vegas, the casino shows are the best to perform in the entire country because it's a collection of everybody. So you get a taste of Midwestern and conservatism, West Coast liberalism, you know what I mean? And me being more of a political and heady comic, you know what I mean? That's more of my realm. So I learned how to craft in between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say Vegas. New York was a blast for me because it's New York. You know what I mean? So I think I was more infatuated that I was in New York doing comedy shows and was doing comedy shows with like Shantae Wayans, shit. What's Amy Schumer girl's name?
Who?
Amy Schumer. I always forget the other Jewish chick name. Rachel Feinstein. Doing shows with her. She flirted with me and shit. Like, that's what this whole Me Too movement and all that shit like that, when they talk about that. And even now, women be like, oh man, are creeps and shit like that. And they groping. Like, this chick is rubbing all on me and touching all on me. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh. But because I'm a dude, you know what I mean? I wasn't groped. I'm not accusing her of anything either, so I don't want people to write this and all of a sudden this is a story tomorrow. Diaz Mackie accused Rachel Feinstein of sexual harassment.
So if people come to Vegas, or that they're trying to reach out to you on social media, how do they get at you?
Diaz Mackie, the name that you see in the box, real name, no gimmicks. People think it's a stage name. I'm like, no, that's my real name. It's not my first name. My first name is Randolph.
Your first name is who?
Randolph. I didn't want to so articulate. I was destined to be this way. Randolph.
So you want to see Randolph Diaz in the spotlights?
I always said I was saving Randolph for like if I ran for president, or that's legal matter. I try to keep because Randolph and Diaz are two different people. Randolph is very conservative. He's a holy man. He seeks right and justice. And Diaz, let's get loose. Let's crack it open. Party! Like, separate. They both combine to make one. You know what I mean? But I am probably a very bipolar Aquarius.
Like, let me holler GoPro real quick. GoPro, yeah, we said ask questions, but respectful questions. I'm not putting that question out there.
What is the question? GoPro, I appreciate
it. I asked the question. He said, so I asked him, damn it.
pro. He a pro. So I don't want him coming back on you.
Have you ever given someone VD? If so, tell them or act like you didn't know. No, I have never given anyone VD. Thank God, but I have got VD. I got burnt when I was 17, and I got the crabs when I was 18. Yeah,
I thought everybody. So you only ate crabs, and when you was 18, that was it.
no, not 8 crabs. I got crabs. Like,
oh, you got them. Oh, how long did it take for you to get them? Did you fish a lot for them?
You said that I fish a lot for shit. Oh, nigga, shit. Fucking all of a sudden, I just found myself itching. And I was like, what the fuck am I itching for? And I'm like,
I thought they pinch you. I didn't think they make you itch.
No, you itch. You just be scratching. That was like, it's itching. And my mom, honestly, my mom noticed it. My mom was like, you scratching a lot. And I was like, yeah, I've been itching. And my mom was like, come here, boy. And we went in the bathroom. I'm like 18. And she's like, well, now. And she's like, you infested.
Oh, snap.
And I was like, ah. And she went and got the red. And I had to shave everything from the waist down. Burn the clothes and sheets. That was my crab experience. 18. Broke up with that bitch too. I was dating her, not that it matters because race don't matter, but she's Puerto Rican. And she had called me to pick her up from work. And I was with my boys. I was playing basketball. And I was like, get a ride. Just get dropped off. And she had a nigga drop her off. And
oh, damn.
she fucked that nigga. But we also fucked at a Motel 6. So her excuse was we got it from the Motel 6. I'm like, you got it from that nigga. And you gave it to me. But we did fuck at the Motel 6.
Oh, heck no. I see some couple people have been popping in.
Somebody said he wants to go on the show and do stand up. Yeah, we can have him come on and do a couple minutes when we do a little guest that.
What's up, Latif? What's up, Miss Andaria? Let's see. What's up, King Doze? I saw you popping earlier. What's up, Rick Moore?
But man, I grew up crazy. Like I said, from Detroit, so I would spend my summers in Detroit. Detroit, my dad would have me shooting guns and fucking doing drive-bys. Like I was shooting Uzis, stupid shit. Like shit not be. And then I would go up north to the northwestern Michigan and be out catching frogs and playing basketball in the trailer park, riding bicycles, whitewater rafting, and riding horses and shit. A very complex way to grow up. That explains the bipolarism. I get it now.
I believe. What's up, D-Ho? Now, what do you got coming up here in the future?
I don't know. I can tell you what I would like to happen. Mm-hmm. I would love for the world to open back up so I can start doing shows again. But until then, honestly, I am working on, and I have started writing, and I've been working on this for honestly 3 years. But the show, The Misadventures of Stacey Johnson, and it's really a show based off of my life, but exaggerated. I call it Stacey Johnson because Stacey Johnson, I used to do telemarketing. Mm-hmm. And I used to use an alias, Stacey Johnson. And people are like, why use a girl's name? And I'd be like, it's in between, but when I say Stacey, I would catch the dude on the phone's ear.
Right.
Like, who's Stacey? I'm like, yeah, Stacey Johnson from Pacesetter. I had a chance to talk to you and your wife the other day about some windows and doors. You saw some fog in the condensation right there in your windows and doors right there around the side of the house, right? They were like, and then I would slide into my pitch once I got on the pause and read that pitch word for word for the listeners, and then go right back into my jive. But I would use the name Stacey Johnson, so that was my alias.
Okay. What's up, Sandy B? How you doing? You said people can get at you just at Diaz Mackie?
Diaz Mackie, yes, sir.
Oh, no, is that just Gmail or all platforms?
That's all platforms. Yeah. All platforms. If
Okay.
you messaging me specifically for comedy, it's Diaz Mackie comedy at Gmail. I had to separate that from all the spam that I was getting from some of the porns that you click on. It's been a long lockdown. I'm lonely. I go out of town and meet up with someone like once a month.
OMG. Let's see. Oh, and you also, if
My hands are so soft.
oh hey, you forgot me what I was gonna ask now.
I just figured we done got later into the show now. Now I can turn up more.
Okay, I gotta see
Who's the
one
funniest
last
comic
question
I've
before
ever
we.
seen? Yours is Richard Pryor. Mine is Chappelle. I love Chappelle and I love Seinfeld, but I love Chappelle. I like the humor. His last special, I don't think it was a comedy special. I think it was a good, important rant that was
Mm,
probably needed at that point in time in our history, but it wasn't comic. It's just personal opinion. But Chappelle, Pryor was funny because Pryor was the first one to just go out there and be authentic and not give a fuck.
mm-hmm.
And, I have to tell you from experience, cocaine will lead you to that door. You just don't give a fuck. Have I ever did a show and the microphone stunk before you? Yeah. Um, Chicago VR. It's a lot of microphones. Yeah, there's a lot of sticky microphones out there. That is a thing. I keep a microphone back so I don't smell them too much because I keep it back and I hold it down here a lot because I yell when I'm on stage.
Have you ever got attacked or confronted on stage for joking with someone too hard?
I have never been attacked. I had someone confront me on stage twice where someone wanted to walk up, but because I jumped down so quick, they backed off. Um, yeah. They confronted and just a battle, but I've actually had to tackle somebody because they were running on stage to attack another comic. I've had to do that twice, where I was the only comic that was going to move and saw it and fucking ran and dove and tackled the dude before he could get to the comic. But my joke's still not that bad. I'm honestly I've been fortunate. I'm usually a pretty likable comedian. I don't get heckled that much
right,
on
right.
stage. Doing this shit online and stuff like that, this is definitely you just gotta not give a fuck and just go at it. And I definitely appreciate all the comics that do the format because
Mm-hmm.
it's way different from being on stage. And this is different from other platforms too, because like with Zoom, they have all the other people in the room and maybe laughing and stuff like that. But also, it's a mess because you get a lot of cross talking. There's no real control. You know what I mean? That shit. So this format is by far the best, and that's why the comics that do this format love this show. And you've
Right.
heard every comic that's been on here, they always like, man, I can't. I thought this was gonna be weird, but I can't wait to come back. And y'all
Mm-hmm.
gotta have me back, and that'd be authentic. So.
Okay. Well, what I do,
They beat me up. They trying to sock me.
I know what you're talking about. Before we get out of here, I just want Diaz holler at the good people what you want them to know. Again, how can they get at you? Um, I know you said you think about stuff that's coming up. Is there some other comedians that are coming up on the next shows?
GoPro asked, have I ever told someone they're not funny and give up comedy? Yeah. I have a couple times. Oh, a couple of them did, and one of them actually didn't. But I said out of anger, and he wasn't really funny at the time, but he's worked himself into actually being funny. He's one of the only few comics that I've ever seen actually work himself into being funny. Like most comics, even when they bomb, like you can see the potential, and you're like, oh, like, because really it's all stage presence, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because you cannot be funny if you're likable. People still like, oh.
Sexual chocolate.
Yeah, I mean, they still like you. They have a good time. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't got to be like thought-provoking. You just go up there and, hey, and fucking school, not really, telling jokes that matter. And people, oh my God, so funny because you're likable. You know what I mean? You're either handsome or you were so ugly that you crossed that threshold to where now you're provocative. You know what I mean? Like, somebody so ugly that they become provocative, like they no longer ugly.
Right.
But they have to because they're so ugly. Like Grace Jones. She's provocative. But if you look at her, that bitch ain't cute. And I don't want to hear nothing about artists. They don't like his sisters and all that shit like that. Both my kids black. I'm saying. I had to have proof. So when I do get caught fucking white bitches, I can come back to saying I got black kids.
But to what y'all just said, I think that goes to each his own because somebody think Grace Jones is gorgeous. So I mean, so you can't really say. I mean, she just ugly to you. To other people as well. But I mean, I've learned a long time ago. But listen, I learned a long time ago. Some people
trying to take diplomatic immunity.
Wait a minute, I put it this way. For the people that we say that super ugly, it's awfully funny how they get married and how they have families. So they have kids, so they can't be too ugly.
That's because they reach the threshold to where they become attractive, which proves my point. Somebody that's ugly is cute to somebody because they've crossed that threshold and become attractive and provocative because it is. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Right, yeah. So if your beholder is good to them, then they're gonna behold it.
The general consensus.
They gonna keep it. Hey, golly, girl, you look good. Shoot. All along, they just basically the way they talk, their personality is what make it go that route. So
walking by faith and not by sight.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I believe she's gonna be pretty. I believe she is. I will walk by faith and not by sight. She is pretty. She is gorgeous and beautiful.
I'm end up posting your show on my platform as well.
Yeah.
Can you tell Bo is a streetwalker? He treat all his clients the same. What the fuck is a streetwalker?
GoPro trying to call you out.
Because I know what a streetwalker is in one terminology, and I know he didn't accuse you of being a streetwalker.
GoPro always trying to put me out there. So GoPro trying to sell me and all other kind of stuff. So look, Slappy said, "You not ugly."
Someone just poked me in the eye.
With that, we're gonna be right on cue here in 1 second. Who do you have coming up Monday?
We got Thomas Ward. He was on Showtime. He opens up with he tours with Eddie Griffin. We have Carl Spitali, Derwin Perry, Thomas Easter, and Shannon the Queen Butler.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So everyone in the chat, give a big ups to Mr. Diaz Mackie. Look, even through the interview, he had his comedy jokes, and just off, because if you listen to him, he plays off words, and I like that. He play off a word and he pick up a joke just like that. So even through an interview, you hear some of his comedy, and I like that. And he's a brilliant gentleman, and I have a lot of respect for him. So please give big ups to Diaz Mackie. Reach out to him on all platforms under Diaz Mackie, especially on. I follow him on Facebook, and he got some hilarious stuff just on Facebook by itself.
Man, the arguments that I start on Facebook be so funny. I just don't post a thought. You know what I mean? And sometimes it'll be an actual thought that I truly do have, and sometimes it's just a thought to poke the bear you know what I mean, the conversation. And then I just watch the argument and step back, and I literally be more like one of the memes on it, just eating the popcorn. I'll be like, and it's so funny how disrespectful people get with one another. You know what I mean? And it's unbelievable. And I just sit back and I just laugh at this shit and be like, man, people take this shit too serious.
Right.
But at the same time, vote. I don't care who you vote for, man. I don't care if you're black, you vote Trump. I don't care if you're white and you voting Democrat. That shit. Just be informed. That's all I ever care about. Just be informed. Don't go off the sheet, off of what people think you're supposed to do. Go off of what your gut feeling tells you what to do.
My brother Bo knows. What you got, brother?
Rick has to put rap on material. Do I have help?
Nothing. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do tomorrow. So I got to figure out something what I'm gonna do tomorrow, y'all. I don't know what I'm doing. Actually, I'm gonna need a whooping. I need to get with Kay Lee to interview her. So I got to make sure I get at her. So I will get at her. I'm gonna hit her up on the email and then see if I can have her on tomorrow. If not, I will be going live after LJ and The Real.
Who's KD?
Kay Lee.
Oh, Kay Lee.
Yeah.
Ask Diaz to put his Cash App up in the chat.
Oh, you make me laugh. Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that.
He said, ask Diaz, wait a minute. He said, ask Diaz to put his cash up in the chat. I want to request 35. He said he want to request 35.
Request 35.
Yo, bro, it's bird. I just read that like, well, wait a minute. Let me look right now.
Well, they doing that because we about to end the show here in a few minutes. First, I want to give big ups for everybody in the chat who came in tonight and who tuned in to Bo Knows, myself, who also tuned in to Diaz Mackie, especially when Bo does the Monday Night Raw show. And I say that because Diaz touched on a couple things I wanted to mention tonight. I'm gonna do my brother Shonuff, where he does the end of his show. My brother Bo has something he coming up with. I think it's gonna be really good here in the future when he puts it out. So, and I'm gonna touch on something real quick. Might not be real quick, but just work with me. Shonuff, DST, don't choke me. This is just my opinion, and I'm gonna put it out there just like this. I'm gonna touch on something that we talked about last month about the word respect. With the word respect, I have, as a black man growing up, and in the times that we are right now, I have a lot of respect for myself. I have a lot of respect for Diaz Mackie, who's on the show tonight. My brother Bo Knows.
Hey.
Dale. Tech in the Bathroom. Will I Am. And not to say I'm not leaving any women out, but I'm saying as a man and as a black man, I have a lot of respect because you have to have that in order to, let's say, get up in the morning and do what you need to do as a man. And when you have respect for yourself, you know how to carry yourself in any situation. So if you think I'm talking about you, yes, I am talking about you. And I'm going to give him a couple minutes of his fame. I'm going to give two of his crew members, a couple minutes of fame. And I'm definitely speaking on the subject of Kenneth Mullins. And I say that to say this. Kenneth, when I say I have respect for people, as a black man, we're supposed to lift each other up and not lift each other down. What was it, a week ago? You seen how me and Philly Dable Cave had a very good conversation, how we respect each other. A lot of people didn't know in the background of what may have went on between us. It wasn't nobody's thing to know. But I have a lot of respect for him for what he does because he's out there teaching people showing them what they can do with different devices and giving them knowledge. You, my brother, and I'll extend the olive branch. Whether you accept it or not, that's cool. You know where I'm coming from the conversation we had a month ago. I think you have fell off. I think you don't know what the word respect is. I think you should learn how to respect yourself first, because what? One, you need to respect your health of what you're going through. Two, you need to respect your household on what goes on. If someone comes into your household and disrespects it, and you continue to hang around the two characters that you do, because you can just automatically tell in the shows that you are producing now, you don't have your real teammates on there. You have the Beavis and Buttheads on your show, and they're pulling your strings. That way you can just wax on and wax off for them. You're not respecting yourself. Learn to have respect for yourself. That way you can see who is around you. That way you can say, hey, if these are people I choose to hang with, then why don't you pull them in and say, hey, let's turn this into something positive instead of making up little kid signs with words they can't spell and stuff like that. If you need to, take a minute, go put your head in the sand and tell me if you can look up and see anything at all. All you have to do is start respecting yourself. Once you do that, you can respect everything around you and every person around you. And that's just from the heart, Chief. I think you done fell off. I think you're going down a road you don't want to go. Pull yourself up and listen to the people that are really trying to talk to you. Listen to the people who really are out there for your real interest. When you do that, you can learn what the word respect really means. Respect yourself. If you're going to roll with people that are going to do something positive, roll with your team that actually is trying to do something, because they do a show every morning and it's all about positivity. I could look at the show in the morning and tell their views for some reason are much higher than the views you get. And it's probably because of the people that you have on your show that are little men. I'm sorry, let me take that back. They're little boys that have not grown up yet. I thought you was a grown man, Kenneth. But here lately, you haven't been showing that. So please, stop being the kid in the sand, playing in the dirt where the kids don't have nothing for you. If you want to continue to deal with them, fine. But don't put them on a platform where they can pull your strings. Step up, be a man, get your respect back, cut them strings off, and roll with the people that is serious about you and wanting you to get ahead in life. I just said my spill. Now, this is the thing I know is going to happen. If this should come up in conversation, whether it be private or live, you do shows early in the morning, you do shows late at night, other places or conversations that these two little boys can say because they have to hide behind a conversation. They're not man enough to say it in your face. They got to hide behind words. I call them keyboard warriors. Everything they say and do is seen. They can't hide anything. Everything you do is seen. You can't hide anything. All I'm saying is look at the people that you deal with. Are they for you in a positive way? I don't think so. And like I said before, all that is the past. It doesn't matter to me no more. And the point that people would say, oh, they're only doing this because they make such and such on YouTube. I look at it like this. I have a 9-to-5. I do YouTube for fun. I hear you talk about the things you got in your garage, what your household has. Okay, that's cool. But if you're out here doing something with the wrong people do this. When you watch shows when they put out, tell me this. Is he really teaching you? Or is it the people on his show doing it for laughs and pulling his strings? If I was you, I wouldn't be their puppet no more. If I was you, which I'm glad I'm not, grow up, be a man, put your big boy pants on, and do the right thing for your health, your household, and respect. Because right now, you looking like a joke. You look like a joke to me, and you look like a joke to other people who see it every day. That's my piece. Love y'all.
Can I just say,